The night felt endless. Rain tapped the window like nervous fingers. Lena sat on the couch, her laptop open beside her. Ethan scrolled through files, his face pale in the glow. Every folder revealed another lie. Searches for fertility laws and DNA surrogacy. Links to clinics Lena had never visited. A file named Project Hope stopped her breath. Inside were scanned papers, signed under her name. Applications, medical tests, a consent form. Her blood type. Her signature forged with perfect precision. Ethan clicked open the last document. A payment receipt from Claire's account. $85,000. Each withdrawal signed by Thomas Reed. Lena's hands trembled against the keyboard. They had planned everything. From her medical ID to her flight schedule. Even her doctor's name appeared in their notes. Week 1, gather records. Week 2, manipulate schedule. Week 3, initiate procedure. It wasn't just betrayal. It was a blueprint for control. She slammed the laptop shut. Tears blurred the edges of the world. Ethan moved closer, his voice low and steady. We'll fix this, we'll make them stop. But she barely heard him. Her mind replayed Claire's expression at dinner. The twitch in her fingers. The fear behind her silence. Had Claire regretted it? Or was she still loyal to him? Lena pressed her palms to her face. Her heart felt like glass under pressure. She had spent her life protecting others. Now she needed to protect herself. A notification blinked on her phone. Unknown number. 3 words lit the screen. This isn't over. Her throat tightened. The room suddenly felt smaller, colder. She turned off the lights and checked the lock twice. Outside, thunder rolled like a warning. In the dim light, Ethan held her hand. We'll go to the police tomorrow. But Lena already knew what they'd say. Family disputes, they'd call it. Private matters. No broken bones, no crime. Her body didn't count as evidence. She lay awake until dawn. The ceiling blurred into gray. Every shadow looked like him. Every sound made her flinch. When morning came, she brewed coffee with shaking hands. The aroma reminded her of home. Of her mother's pearls on Claire's neck. Of everything that used to mean love. Her phone buzzed again. A photo this time. Her apartment building. Taken from across the street. The caption read, "See you soon." Lena's stomach twisted. The war had already begun. And it was no longer about family. It was about ownership. Control. Fear. Ethan took her phone, his voice breaking the silence. Change your number. Change everything. Lena nodded slowly. She didn't cry anymore. Somewhere inside her, something hardened. Not fear, not despair. Something sharper. Something that refused to be broken again. Days blurred together like static. Lena barely slept, barely breathed. Every night, the phone lit up again. Blocked numbers. Messages that felt like knives. You can't hide forever. Family shares everything. Each word dripped with control. Ethan begged her to stop reading them. But she needed proof. Evidence was her only weapon. She saved every message, every call. Her apartment became a fortress of fear. Locks changed twice, cameras on every door. Even silence felt watched. One morning, she found her front door ajar. No sign of forced entry. Just the faint scent of cologne that was Ethan. Her jewelry box sat open on the dresser. Her mother's pearls were gone. The air tasted metallic, sharp with panic. She called the police, voice shaking. Officer took notes, barely looking up. Family matter, he said flatly. File a restraining order if you want. The door clicked shut behind him. She stood alone, holding the useless report. Ethan returned home and found her trembling. His jaw clenched when he saw the empty box. We're getting real security, he said. That night, Cameras blinked red from every corner. Her father came the next day, carrying new locks. He didn't ask, just installed them quietly. "Some men mistake control for love," he said. His voice cracked on the last word. Lena hugged him tighter than she meant to. Later, when she tried to sleep, the buzzing began again. A message on her new phone. "Cute cameras, you think that'll stop me?" Her pulse hammered in her ears. Ethan sat beside her, scanning the footage. At 2:13 a.m., the screen flickered. A shadow moved near the service door. The camera caught a face, Thomas. He looked straight into the lens before walking away. Lena sent the clip to the officer. No reply came that night. The next morning, another message waited. A photo of her broken window. "Missed me." Ethan paced the kitchen, fists tight. "He wants to scare you into giving up." She shook her head. "No, he wants to own me." Her voice didn't sound like her own. Later that week, she found a note on her windshield. "You can't protect what's already mine." She folded it carefully, slid it into her growing file. This was evidence, not emotion. Each threat became another page in her defense. Her fear turned into documentation. Her silence turned into a record. The city lights glowed outside her window. For the first time, she didn't flinch at the dark. She wasn't waiting for rescue anymore. She was building her case. Her story. Her survival. When her phone buzzed again, she didn't tremble. She hit record. Because every monster leaves a trail. And she was finally learning how to follow it. The rain stopped the next evening, leaving streets slick with reflection. Lena met Detective Olivia Jensen in the station hallway. The detective's eyes were sharp, voice steady, all business. "Tell me everything," she said. Lena placed the folder on the table. Inside were photos, messages, timestamps, every threat documented. Olivia studied each page in silence. When she looked up, her tone softened. "You've done more than most victims ever manage." Lena didn't feel like a survivor yet. She felt hunted. She felt watched. Her phone buzzed during the meeting. A new message from an unknown number. It read, "You can't hide from family." Olivia took the phone without a word. "This is enough," she said. "We'll file for a restraining order immediately." The phone rang at dawn. Lena almost didn't answer. Her hands shook when she saw the name on the screen. "Claire." The voice on the other end was broken. "He's losing control," Claire whispered. "I found something. You need to see it." Lena's pulse raced as she listened. Claire's words tumbled out like confession. "The journal, it's his. He wrote about you." Lena gripped the counter until her knuckles whitened. "What kind of things?" Claire hesitated, then said it. "He called you the perfect vessel." Silence stretched between them. The kind that changes everything. They met at a small cafe near the river. Lena arrived first, scanning every face. Claire appeared minutes later, eyes red, shoulders hunched. She placed a notebook on the table. The cover was worn, smudged with fingerprints. Lena opened it carefully. Inside were pages filled with Thomas's handwriting. Drawings of embryos. Timelines. Notes about DNA and control. Her name writ over and over. Lena's stomach twisted. Claire couldn't meet her eyes. "I didn't know it had gone this far," she said. "I thought he just wanted help. I was wrong." Lena closed the notebook slowly. "What do you want from me, Claire?" Claire's lips trembled. "I want to make it right." Outside, traffic roared like distant thunder. Inside, only the hum of the espresso machine. "You could give this to the police," Lena said. "I already did," Claire replied. "But there's more." She leaned forward, voice shaking. "He's been following you again. I saw his car outside your building." Lena's chest tightened. "He wants to finish what he started." Claire's tears spilled freely now. "He thinks you owe him a child. He says it's destiny." The words hit like glass shards. Lena felt every one of them. She reached across the table, touching Claire's hand. Then help me stop him. Claire nodded. I'll testify. I'll tell them everything. Lena studied her twin's face. Same eyes, same freckles, same fear. For the first time, she saw not a traitor but a victim. They were both trapped by the same man, in different cages. And now, both were ready to break free. When they parted, the sky was heavy with clouds. Claire looked back once, mouth forming silent words. Be careful. Lena watched her disappear into the crowd. Her phone buzzed seconds later. A message from an unknown number. A photo of the cafe window. She and Claire frozen mid-conversation. The caption read, I see you. Lena's blood ran cold. She sent the photo straight to Detective Jensen. The reply came fast. Stay where you are. We're tracing the signal. Lena slipped the journal into her bag. Her breath steadied. Her voice was low but certain when she called Ethan. It's time. We end this together. That night she couldn't sleep. She replayed Claire's tears, the photo, the fear. But beneath it all, something new pulsed inside her. It wasn't terror anymore. It was resolve. Thomas had written pages about control. He'd never imagined his victims would take it back. The night smelled of rain and gasoline. Lena sat in the car outside her father's house, engine off, lights dim. Ethan was beside her, silent, fingers tapping the steering wheel. Inside the house, Detective Jensen waited with a plan. It wasn't safety anymore they were after. It was an ending. When Lena walked in, her father looked up from the kitchen table. He had aged in months, not years. Is she safe? He asked. She's with a friend, Lena said. Claire had agreed to stay hidden until this was over. The journal was now in police custody. Every page was a confession. Every word proof of obsession. Thunder rolled outside as Olivia spread out photos. Security footage. Car sightings. Messages. We can't wait for him to strike again, she said. We make him come to us. The sting was simple but dangerous. Lena would play the part of bait. A public place, crowded, with every angle under watch. She had already agreed before anyone asked. Her father protested. Ethan stayed quiet, jaw tight with fear. It's the only way, she said. And they all knew it. 2 nights later, the trap was set. The restaurant buzzed with weekend noise. Lena and Ethan sat by the window, pretending to share dinner. A hidden microphone nestled in her necklace. Olivia was 3 tables away, disguised by a newspaper. Every heartbeat felt like thunder. Every door chime a countdown. At 7:43, the door opened. Thomas stepped in. Same sharp suit, same empty eyes. He spotted her immediately. His lips curled into that familiar, chilling smile. He walked straight toward her, ignoring Ethan completely. Lena, he said, voice low. We need to talk. She didn't turn. This is a private dinner, Ethan said evenly. Thomas laughed, harsh and jagged. Nothing about her is private, she's mine. The restaurant fell silent. Forks paused midair. Every camera caught his words. Olivia gave a small nod from her seat. Lena turned then, meeting his gaze. I never belonged to you, she said. Thomas's hand shot out, gripping her shoulder. His touch burned. Let go, she said clearly for the microphone to catch. You're hurting me. Within seconds, Olivia appeared at her side, badge flashing. Step away from her, Mr. Reed. Thomas's grip tightened instead. This is family business, he snapped. This is assault, Olivia answered. 2 more officers closed in. Thomas's mask cracked. You can't do this, he said. We already did, Olivia replied. The cuffs clicked around his wrists. Lena didn't move. She watched as the man who haunted her every step finally stumbled. He shouted her name once more. But the sound no longer carried power. It broke like glass against the noise of the restaurant. From the corner of her eye, Lena saw her father step forward. Claire stood at the door, tears streaking her face. She whispered something Lena couldn't hear. Maybe forgiveness. Maybe goodbye. Then the officers led him away into the night. Applause rose softly around them, unsure, relieved. Ethan took her trembling hand. "It's over," he whispered. Lena exhaled for the first time in months. "No," she said quietly. "It's just beginning." The sun rose slow and golden, a year after the arrest. Lena woke to quiet, not fear. The apartment smelled of coffee and rosemary. Ethan moved softly through the kitchen, humming. She sat at her desk, fingers on the keyboard. The document title blinked, "My Body, My Choice." Chapter 12. The final chapter. Each sentence felt like exhale. Each word stitched a wound shut. Her phone buzzed with a message from her father. Dinner at 6. Same house, same table. But nothing about this Sunday would be the same. She smiled, closed the laptop and stood. On the windowsill, basil and mint caught the light. Where cameras once stood, life now grew. It was peace, fragile but real. That evening, they drove to her father's house. The driveway was lined with lanterns. The door opened before they could knock. Her father hugged her tight, voice rough with pride. "Good to have my girl home." The dining room glowed warm, familiar. Claire was there, hair shorter, eyes lighter. She set the salad on the table and smiled. No pearls, no guilt, only quiet grace. They ate together without tension, without silence. Ethan and her father traded jokes about cooking. Claire laughed, an unguarded sound Lena hadn't heard in years. There were no ghosts left in the corners. Only people trying again. Claire looked across the table. "My therapist thinks I'm ready to apply for adoption next year." Lena's fork paused midair. Then she smiled. "That's wonderful, Claire." And for once, she meant it completely. After dessert, guests arrived. Janine brought flowers. Detective Jensen carried homemade cookies. They toasted not victory but survival. Lena's foundation had already helped 3 women leave abusive homes. Her case had become precedent. Her story, a spark for others. When Jensen raised a glass, her words landed softly. To boundaries, to healing, to women who refused to disappear. The clink of glass felt like closure. Later, Lena stepped outside for air. The porch swing creaked under her weight. Claire joined her, barefoot, holding 2 mugs of tea. They sat side by side in easy silence. Fireflies floated over their father's garden. "I used to think family meant obligation," Claire said. "Now I think it means choice." Lena nodded. "Same DNA, different paths, that's okay." They watched the stars until the tea went cold. Back home, Lena opened her laptop again. The cursor blinked, patient as always. She typed the final lines. "Family is not blood but respect. Love does not demand, it protects." She saved the file and closed the lid. Ethan appeared behind her, arms wrapping around her waist. "Come to bed?" he asked. Lena leaned into him, smiling. "Yes," she said softly. "I'm ready." Outside, the city shimmered with quiet light. Her reflection in the window looked whole again. Scarred but unbroken. Changed but alive. Finally, completely free. The night settled calm and silver. Lena stood by the window, watching the city breathe. Lights flickered like tiny promises across the skyline. Her reflection stared back, steady, unafraid. For the first time, the quiet didn't feel empty. It felt earned. Ethan's voice called softly from the bedroom. She turned, smiled, and let the moment sink in. Every bruise had faded. Every scar had become a story. The world had stopped spinning out of control. She had stopped running. The nightmare was no longer hers to carry. Her body was her own again. Her choices, her boundaries, her peace. She touched the window glass, cold and smooth. Beyond it, the city pulsed with life she once feared. Now it was just beautiful. She whispered a small thank you, to survival, to strength, to the girl she had been, and the woman she'd become. When she turned off the light, the room filled with warmth. Tomorrow would come quietly, like dawn after a storm. And she would be there to meet it. Alive. Whole. Free.